This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. It was a crash that's rattled students and left parents and witnesses shocked. Several people have significant injuries after being involved in a bus rollover this morning. It happened north of Swan River on an icy highway. The bus was carrying a group of teenagers from Sapatwea Cree Nation on their way to school. CBC's Michelle McDougall is in Swan River with what we know so far.
I'm here outside the hospital in Swan River where 10 students and a bus driver are recovering after their school bus flipped while on the way to school this morning. 4 others were airlifted to Health Sciences Centre in Winnipeg where they are recovering with non-life-threatening injuries. RCMP told CBC the crash happened on Highway 10, which is about 70 kilometers north of here, and officers were on scene by 8:35. The 14 students were from Swan Valley Regional Secondary School, as well as Northern Lights Institute of Trades and Technology. They and the driver were treated at the scene and then sent to hospitals. I spoke with a father who had a child on a second school bus that was traveling in the same direction. The father says his child told him that the bus that eventually rolled had tried to pass, and that is when it lost control and hit the ditch. RCMP has corroborated that story and say the bus was heading south on the highway, rolled, and then came to a stop when it was right side up. Road conditions were described as slippery at the time of the accident. A family room has been set up inside the hospital for families, including parents, grandparents, and caregivers of the students and bus driver. All of those people are inside the hospital. Chief Nelson Janai of Sepatoyak First Nation has been with the family since before noon and said people are shocked and traumatized but are focused on recovery. He also said something else, that as a grandparent, he shares the fears that people here are feeling.
When you expect your child to go to school, you're hoping that your child is going to make it to school, and that comes from, as a parent, you're hoping that, when you go to school, they're looked after. So everybody has a responsibility to play.
Manitoba Premier Rob Canoe said the incident was a, quote, very scary situation. While speaking at an unrelated news conference this afternoon, he was asked about the possibility of mandatory seatbelts on school buses in Manitoba.
I'm open to the conversation, but we have to be patient about identifying what took place in this instance before we rush to propose the right solution.
The Friendship Centre here also opened its doors to families of the crash victims, but staff told me that people stayed at the hospital with loved ones, so they sent food, soup and bannock for about 50 people. Michelle McDougall, CBC News, Swan River.
Prosecutors want a disgraced Winnipeg police officer sentenced to 7 years in prison. Elston Bostock pleaded guilty to a long list of offenses, including selling drugs and sharing a photo of a partially naked dead woman. CBC's Caitlin Gowerluck was in court and has the latest.
For years, Elston Bostock undermined police investigations, corrupted colleagues, and damaged confidence in the justice system. And the police investigation that revealed those details found internal reports raising concerns about him going back to 2009. Bostock was arrested in 2024 and previously pleaded guilty to a long list of offenses, among them ticket fixing, selling drugs like cocaine and psilocybin, and in one case making lewd comments about a photo he took of a partially naked woman who had died of an overdose. During Bostock's sentencing hearing on Tuesday, court heard victim impact statements from the family of that woman, including her 13-year-old daughter, who said, "My mom deserved better, and so did our family. I am just a kid, and this has changed how I feel and how safe I feel." Prosecutors say the investigation into Bostock revealed a deeply compromised officer who engaged in drug abuse, trafficking, and leveraged his position to further criminal interests. They want him sentenced to 7 years in prison. Bostock's lawyers say that's too long and asked for a little over 2 years. They say the former constable struggled with depression and self-medicated with drugs and alcohol. When given the chance to speak, Bostock apologized to everyone from his family for the emotional toll the case has taken on them to the police for tarnishing their reputation. He also apologized to the family of the woman whose body he shared a photo of, telling them, "There has not been a single day that has gone by in the last number of months that I've been incarcerated that I haven't regretted the indignity I have caused." Court heard while Bostock is no longer employed with the Winnipeg Police Service, he'll still get to keep his pension. The judge is expected to give his decision in Bostock's sentencing next week. Caitlin Gowerluck, CBC News, Winnipeg.
The man accused of spray painting hate-related graffiti in Winnipeg last week has been charged with 3 new offenses. Oliver Aderhoff was rearrested after police say he broke into a home in the Crescentwood area Friday. He's being charged with break and enter, failing to comply with a court order, and public mischief. It happened just 1 day after he was arrested in connection to graffiti on a synagogue, a mosque, a school, and some homes and vehicles. After his initial arrest, Aderhoff was released on a promise to appear in court. Police say he's now in custody. There's a new casualty in the trade war with the United States. Here in Manitoba, it's particularly hard to swallow. CBC's Bartley Kivas tells us how a Diageo decision to move a bottling plant to the U.S. is affecting Crown Royal production here in this province.
It's 1 o'clock somewhere, and that includes Gimli, where Mayor Kevin Chudd's enjoying a glass of Crown Royal at the Ship and Plow.
This is a Gimli-made drink for sipping, drinking, and to appreciate.
Crown Royal is mashed, distilled, and bottled at this Diageo plant north of Gimli. The distillery is one of the biggest businesses in the Interlake, and business is good for Canadian whiskey after some provinces pulled U.S. bourbon off the shelves. Now, Ontario plans to remove Crown Royal from LCBO stores because Diageo is moving a bottling plant from Amherstburg to the United States.
Sure as I'm talking to you, that Crown Royal is coming off the shelves.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford famously poured Crown Royal out last fall and is following through on his threat to make Diageo whiskey sales evaporate in Ontario. Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew urges him to reconsider.
So I understand Premier Ford has his different priorities that he's working on, but when we're talking about Team Canada, we have to stay united across the provinces. And having a Team Canada approach can't mean targeting jobs in another province.
The two premiers spoke by phone today, but Ford is hanging tough.
No, I'm not reconsidering. And Crown Royal, Diageo, they should have thought of it. Who goes after their best customer? No one does. We were their #1 customer in the entire world, and they wanted to come after us and close down a plant and have people lose their jobs.
Back in Gimli, Mayor Chudd didn't want to say anything to antagonize Ford, but he stressed how important the Diageo plant is to Gimli.
Well, that's probably our worst kept secret, is how proud we are of Crown Royal.
The Premier was asked repeatedly about the economic impact on Manitoba if Doug Ford follows through on his plan to remove Crown Royal from Ontario's shelves. Kinew said that was a hypothetical, but promised there would be no tit-for-tat removal of Ontario-made liquor products from Manitoba liquor shelves. Bartley Kivas, CBC News, in the arm of Gimli.
Several people have received notices of alleged misconduct as part of the Winnipeg Police Headquarters inquiry. An interim report from the inquiry's commissioner says 3 people who got notices can't be forced to testify because they live outside the province. Those people were not named in that report. Between February and June, 34 witnesses are expected to testify at the public hearings looking into the procurement and construction of the city's police headquarters. Some are speaking voluntarily, while others are under subpoena. 11 expert witnesses will also testify. The first phase of hearings is scheduled to start next month in Winnipeg. All right, time to bring in Riley Lachuk. And Riley, much warmer conditions than we've been seeing for some parts of winter, but also makes for some really dangerous roads.
Yeah, exactly. It's that freeze thaw that we're going through, Brittany, that's really wreaking havoc on highway conditions in the province, particularly early in the morning. I'll talk temperatures in just a moment, but we've got another round of this coming our way as we get through into the day on Wednesday and into Thursday. So tonight, back to seasonal, but we are looking at another rapid warm-up as we get overnight into Thursday morning across southern Manitoba. Along with that, a warm front will bring the risk of freezing rain to western parts of the province, Swan River, the Pas, Flin Flon, into Lynn Lake as we head into early Thursday morning. Then comes a cold front, and that's going to pull temperatures back significantly as we head toward the weekend. And we'll add some wind in there for good measure as well as we head toward the end of the week. So lots happening in the next 48 hours weather-wise in the province. Looking at a mostly clear night tonight, minus 22. That's actually close to seasonal for this time of the year. That's where we'll start the day tomorrow, a mostly clear sky, and we'll try for around minus 15 tomorrow afternoon. Brittany will get some cloud building in later in the day tomorrow. We'll talk temperatures and how much snow we can expect in parts of the province when I come back.
All right, thank you, Riley.
You're welcome.
It was a catastrophic water main break that's left Calgarians urged to control their water supply. But could the same thing happen here? We dive into that next. It's a catastrophic water infrastructure failure that's still causing havoc and headaches in Calgary. A major water main break in December has left the city urging people to conserve its water supply as the system hits critically low levels. Those same pipes that failed there are also used in Winnipeg. CBC's Cameron McLean looks into whether the same problem could also happen here.
Could this water main disaster happen in Winnipeg?
The pipes used here in Calgary when this major water feeder main broke are used in Winnipeg too. In Calgary, this break forced the city to bring in strict water restrictions for residents. The same section of pipe also ruptured 2 years ago. The city of Calgary set up an independent panel to look into how that break happened. The final report came out just over a week after the most recent rupture.
This is an emergency situation.
The report found Calgary had known about problems with this type of pipe since 2004, but inspections and upgrades were repeatedly deferred.
And so the industry as a whole has been aware of this problem, and many other municipalities, Montreal, Halifax, Winnipeg, have all had the same style of pipe installed in their networks.
Wait, did he say Winnipeg? He did.
According to the city, Winnipeg has about 120 kilometers of 1970s vintage pre-stressed concrete cylinder pipe, similar to the one that broke in Calgary.
Siegfried Kiefer, who chaired that Calgary panel I mentioned earlier, he says Calgary lags behind. Other cities, like Winnipeg, have done more to inspect, repair, and add resilience to their water systems.
They've been more aggressive in those programs.
So how likely is a Calgary-level catastrophic water main break in Winnipeg? City officials in Winnipeg say not likely, thanks to 3 things.
We've never had a leak in these kind of pipes.
Water and Waste Committee Chair Ross Eady says Winnipeg kept stricter construction standards than many other cities. Winnipeg's pipes are faring better as a result. He also credits ongoing inspections and repairs.
We don't have anything that's that wide.
And while Calgary relied heavily on a single 6-foot wide pipe, Winnipeg's feeder mains are generally smaller.
All our feeder mains are interconnected, and we can turn off any segment of these feeder mains, and the supply is maintained.
Shank says Winnipeg also benefits from clay soils that slow corrosion and from regular inspections of high-risk river crossings.
So while Winnipeg has similar aging infrastructure to Calgary, the city says chances of a catastrophic feeder main break here are low. Cameron McLean, CBC News, Winnipeg.
During a normal winter, many northern Manitobans are outdoors making the most of the cold. But after fires last summer and poor snow conditions months before that, those who make winter recreation happen are facing challenges. CBC's Eric Westhaver reports from Flin Flon.
A winter in the north often means time on the trails. There are hundreds of kilometers of paths throughout the bush, but in places hit by wildfires, enjoying this winter has been tough. Jan Trumbley helped start the Border Explorers snowmobile group in the 90s. The group looks after 20 kilometers of sled trails each year, but this winter is different.
Every trail we've had to look at so far has massive amounts of damage.
Trumbley said volunteers have been out and made some progress, but even after weeks of work, some areas still aren't passable.
We're way behind. It's taking us probably, I couldn't even guess 10 times as long, at least.
Leslie Beck is the organizer of Wakatoan Trails, which focuses on snowshoeing, scenery, and history walks. They plan to expand this winter. That's now on hold.
We lost an entire area, like right from Flin Flon to Baker's Narrows. Like if you just take the old highway from town to Baker's, that area is all lost.
About 6 of the Flin Flon Ski Club's 28 kilometers of trails were hit by the fire, wrecking buildings and bridges. Club President Dean Grove said he was surprised at how much the area has changed, but he's optimistic.
Positive, I guess. It's opened our eyes to maybe some changes we could make to the trail that might improve it going forward.
Snow has been an issue too. There hasn't been enough of it outside of a blizzard in October. That's left trails hard to groom.
Fire being the most prominent, but there is lots of damage even done by the snowstorm, more than we would have anticipated.
Many burned trees are still standing but can fall at any time, meaning a hazard for anyone underneath. It'll take a long time for the forest to grow back.
We are looking at probably 30, 40 years to bring back those forests that have been burnt out.
But there are signs of hope.
We walked it 2 weeks after we came back, and already some growth was coming back on the trail. So it's pretty amazing actually how nature bounces back.
The work is nowhere near done, but neither are the volunteers. All three groups plan to keep working, and the Border Explorers and Ski Club will even host events later this winter. Eric Westaver, CBC News, Flin Flon.
Okay, Riley, back in now. And Riley, we're seeing these above zero temperatures that we're seeing in Winnipeg and parts of the south. Although really enjoyable, it does make for some really treacherous roadways, especially with those temperatures that you're talking about dipping back down into the negatives.
That freeze thaw going on the downward slide now, but as we get into Thursday, Brittany, we're going on the upward swing again. Even as we get into tomorrow night, we're going to see some of those temperatures popping back up close to freezing. I'm going to start with our daytime highs from today. And keep in mind, a lot of these temperatures, we actually hit these pre-dawn through the overnight hours last night. So that was the case for Winnipeg, for Swan River, for Dauphin, 3 degrees in Winnipeg. First thing this morning, 4s through the overnight hours into the western part of the province, Dauphin, Swan River, into Roblin. In fact, Swan River this morning at +1 at 8 o'clock this morning, down to -3 by 9 o'clock this morning. So that's how quickly that cold front swept through and really pulled temperatures down closer to -10 by the time we got into the afternoon hours for much of southern Manitoba already into the evening hours here. You can start to see high pressure in the north really starting to clear things out. That's going to push southward as we get through the night tonight and really introduce some much colder air to parts of the province as we get through the overnight hours. In fact, parts of northern Manitoba, Thompson, Churchill, along the Hudson Bay coast, Gillam looking at temperatures -27, -29 through the overnight hours tonight. It is short-lived. As this next frontal system pushes in here, this warm front that will start to move into the province as we get late into the day on Wednesday, and really Swan River, Roblin, the Paw, Flin Flon, Lynn Lake, as we get some of this warmer air nudging its way in, this does bring with it the risk of some freezing rain through the later afternoon hours tomorrow. For the rest of northern Manitoba, this is a snow event that pushes through overnight into Thursday morning, maybe a few flurries to the Interlake into parts of the Red River Valley. And then as the main area of low pressure swings through, this is when we have our best chance of getting into some periods of snow as we get through the afternoon hours Thursday, with temperatures close to the freezing mark. Some of this may be mixed precipitation or even some rainfall at times as we get into the evening hours on Thursday. Then the cold front sweeps through, and with this comes some very gusty winds overnight into Friday morning, and some much cooler air as we get into the day on Friday and certainly into the weekend. I'll show you some of that in your long-range forecast here in just a moment. So up to supper time on Thursday, we're looking at the potential for 2 or 3 centimeters. Again, in parts of the Red River Valley, the forecast modeling is taking into account that some of this could be mixed in with some rainfall as we get into the afternoon hours Thursday before we see that cold front sweep through and push temperatures down, but certainly a good shot at 10 to 15 centimeters even for parts of northern Manitoba by the time we get to the weekend. So by the afternoon, back into the minus single digits again for western Manitoba, but stuck around -15 through the afternoon for Winnipeg. All the way up to freezing again, Brittany, into Thursday, and then there's that downward slide all the way to -20 by the time we get to the weekend.
We are on that roller coaster.
Yes, we are.
Thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
We have much more to come straight ahead. Stay with us.
This is Manitoba. And this is Manitoba on your smart TV, because CBC News is now streaming local. Local news and weather on your connected TV or favorite device. CBC News Manitoba, streaming now.
A U.S.-based human rights agency says the number of dead has climbed to at least 2,000 during nationwide protests in Iran. That number includes demonstrators and security forces. And for the first time, authorities in Iran offered the first official acknowledgement of the high death toll. Crystal Gamansing is following the reaction, and a warning: the story includes images of body bags.
The UN's High Commissioner for Human Rights says he's horrified by the violence used against peaceful protesters in Iran. A spokesperson for Volker Turk read his statement after it was revealed by Reuters that an Iranian official told the Newswire service roughly 2,000 were killed, a number that includes protesters and security forces.
The killing of peaceful demonstrators must stop. The labelling of protesters as terrorists to justify violence against them is unacceptable.
Now, the UN says the information it's receiving suggests hundreds have been killed, although officials say it's nearly impossible to get an accurate reading of the situation on the ground, as there is still no internet service. There are verified images from morgues, including in the capital, showing numerous body bags. The images have appeared on social media and include the cries of individuals walking along the bags. Now, the images are disturbing, but show the consequences faced by some of those who took to the streets in the towns and cities across Iran starting in late December. The UK's Foreign Secretary again condemned the killings of peaceful protesters.
The Minister for the Middle East, at my instruction, has summoned the Iranian ambassador to underline the gravity of this moment and to call Iran to answer for the horrific reports that we are hearing.
The EU's top diplomat, Kaja Kallas, also made statements saying Iran's heavy-handed response to demonstrators shows the regime is afraid of its own people.
We are also putting more sanctions on the ones who are using the violence against the peaceful protesters to show that we are condemning these actions.
Concern is also growing for those arrested. Security officials threaten demonstrators with the death penalty, and it's being reported by some human rights groups that executions could start Wednesday. Crystal Gamansing, CBC News, London.
Donald Trump is threatening Iran with action, encouraging protesters in that country, and promising to send help to those challenging Tehran's leadership. But as Tony Waterman reports, it's not clear what exactly the U.S. president might actually do.
President Trump has made his clearest indication yet that the U.S. will intervene in this ongoing government crackdown on protesters in Iran. During a speech that he gave on Tuesday to the Detroit Economic Club, the president repeated what he had said in a social media post earlier in the day, telling demonstrators to keep protesting.
To all Iranian patriots, keep protesting, take over your institutions if possible, and save the name of the killers and the abusers that are abusing you. You're being very badly abused.
President Trump also reiterated that help is on the way. But when he was asked by a reporter exactly what he meant by that comment, the president only said, "You're going to have to figure that out." So no insight whatsoever there on when this help will arrive or what form this help will take. But President Trump is expected to be briefed on military options on Tuesday. There are a lot of options available. The U.S. could carry out an attack on Iran's nuclear program, much like they did back in June. They could carry out targeted attacks on specific individuals in the country. They could carry out cyber attacks. And of course, the president on Monday night announced 25% tariffs on any country doing business with Iran. One thing, though, that Trump has made very clear is that he wants no U.S. boots on the ground. So it's very unlikely that there would be this extraction of the supreme leader in the way former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro was taking seen from his bedroom in the middle of the night just a couple of weeks ago. Trump, though, has been warning for weeks now that the U.S. will intervene if lethal force is used against peaceful protesters. And from what has been reported on the ground, that is exactly what has been happening over these past 2 weeks and on a very large scale. The U.S.-based human rights activist news agency says that at least 2,000 people have been killed, but there are some estimates that say the number could be much higher, potentially as high as 20,000 people. Now, Trump, in this social media post, not only told these protesters to keep the tally of these abusers, to keep their names, he also said that they're going to pay a very big price. And he also said that he is canceling all meetings with Iranian officials. We don't know if any meetings had actually been arranged, but it appears now from this social media post, from his comments in Detroit earlier today, that any sort of diplomacy is now on hold as U.S. intervention, potentially military intervention, takes center stage. Tony Waterman for CBC News, Washington.
Mark Carney was on the West Coast Tuesday afternoon for his first stop on a trip with major economic implications.
You know, it's a decisive moment for Canada, and I'm very focused on not just building, but how we build and how we build together. So today is really about a dialogue.
The Prime Minister was in Prince Rupert for a meeting of coastal First Nations leaders to discuss resource development, including their concerns about the oil pipeline announced last fall from Alberta to the BC coast. Carney heads next to Beijing for a 3-day visit and a meeting with President Xi Jinping about rebuilding economic ties in light of Canada's strained trade relationship with the Trump administration. As if to drive home the need for better economic ties between Ottawa and Beijing, U.S. President Donald Trump has taken aim once again at the Canadian auto sector, saying he wants Canadian jobs to move south of the border. Kate McKenna has details on that.
Donald Trump took aim at Canada once again. As he toured a Ford factory, he repeated his threat to pull Canadian auto jobs to the U.S.
We don't need cars made in Canada. We don't need cars made in Mexico. We want to make them here. And that's what's happening. Everybody's moving here. From Canada, they're coming here.
He added he doesn't care about the future of free trade between the two countries.
It's irrelevant to me. Canada would love it. Canada wants it. They need it.
Trump's tariff talk is behind Prime Minister Mark Carney's push to diversify trade. He's en route to China, pushing for a relational reset and potentially export opportunities. But that also comes with challenges.
I'm very concerned, and so are my friends in Michigan concerned.
In 2024, Canada imposed a 100% tariff on Chinese electric vehicles, matching a move by Joe Biden intended to protect domestic jobs. Soon after, China countered with tariffs on Canadian canola, seafood, and pork.
It's been very difficult. We certainly are living with a lot of uncertainty. The challenge really is that canola represents such a large percentage of our overall cash receipts.
Bloomberg is reporting the Chinese government may propose easing canola tariffs if Canada lowers EV tariffs in return. That would put Canada offside with the U.S., and Ontario's premier says it could hurt Canadian auto jobs.
I'm absolutely 100% dead against this. It would not be good for Ontario and Canada, and it sure the heck wouldn't be good for the U.S., and it wouldn't be good when it comes to negotiating with President Trump.
Canadian officials say there could be some relief coming on Chinese tariffs, but they downplayed the likelihood of the end of the trade war. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Ottawa.
Well, dry January is in full swing, but new research shows Canadians are drinking more frequently than they did before the pandemic. The CBC's Jamie Strachan has more on troubling trends and the health impacts.
Got the sweet notes in there.
Name a cocktail and Gail Lynch can likely make it. Booze free.
So I'm making a dark and stormy, and you know dark and stormy is rum? It can't be because there's no alcohol. So I'm trying to recreate the flavors
The owner of one of Toronto's only alcohol-free bars, she says her typical clients are cutting back.
They're saying, I'd like to live a life where I'm taking care of my body.
A new study offers a window into the drinking habits of more than 3,000 Ontarians and confirms some of what Lynch is seeing. Overall, the percentage of adults who've had a drink in the past year is down.
There's a slight decrease in the number of people who are drinking alcohol. I do hear that out in social settings, that people are making those reductions.
But troubling trends persist. Binge drinking, 5 or more drinks on a single occasion weekly, is slightly up, along with people drinking daily. And symptoms related to high alcohol dependence are higher than before the pandemic. Things like liver disease and cancer, but also
saying things you wouldn't want to say, getting into arguments, getting into physical fights, legal issues.
The study doesn't fully account for increased availability of alcohol in Ontario, but this expert says it's bad for problem drinkers.
Having alcohol more available to consumers in the same way that we know, lighting a match to a fire has known consequences.
But in Ontario and across the country, there's an effort by many to drink less.
This is
nearly halfway through dry January. Lynch is seeing it firsthand.
I think folks are saying, no, don't judge me. I may not do it 100%. And maybe my dry January is the first 2 weeks or the first and the last week. The point is I'm mindfully consuming.
Cheers. Nearly halfway through dry January, she hopes more people keep it going.
And that ginger comes in at the end.
At the end, yes.
Jamie Strachan, CBC News, Toronto.
Some provinces are forcing civil servants back into the office. But what's Manitoba's plan? We'll explore more on that straight ahead. Stay with us. Remote work is going away for tens of thousands of civil servants across Canada, but not in Manitoba. Premier Wab Kinew likes that some workers have the flexibility to work from home part-time. But as the CBC's Ian Fraze reports, he thinks some managers shouldn't have the choice.
Manitoba will not order civil servants back to the office full-time, bucking a trend in other provinces. In an interview last month, Premier Wab Kinew said he likes that staff can split their time between their workplace and home.
I think it's a balancing act because, again, you know, you have people with young kids and families and stuff like that.
The current policy for full-time employees is at least 3 days in the office every week.
I think the flexibility is really relished by our workers.
The union leader says some civil servants eligible for hybrid work were worried as Ontario and Alberta removed the option for their civil servants. Meanwhile, the federal government is exploring ways to bring workers to the office more often.
Having the Premier say we're not going to change it, I think it really gives them some comfort in what's coming in the future.
But Kinew doesn't think remote work should be an option for everyone. Almost 2 years ago, Kinew insisted the managers of frontline workers be on site.
I would ask, how can you manage somebody who has to show up in person if you're not showing up in person?
He still holds that view, at least in health.
We've asked, healthcare management to go back in person, and that's been our focus so far.
A workplace consultant says there's a big push to fill up offices. Cheryl Christian says workplace culture is driving this.
People can be productive at home, but do we know our roles? Are we reinforcing the culture of the organization, the vision, the mission, and the values?
The province says 3,700 employees work remotely at least once a month. That's 30% of Manitoba's civil servants. Ian Fraze, CBC News, Winnipeg.
The province says a new 5-year strategy to fight poverty in Manitoba is intentionally lacking in detail. The new strategy has broad objectives, like providing more housing and reducing prescription costs for seniors. But it doesn't include details on how to attain those goals or any targets. Housing Minister Bernadette Smith says the government wants its strategy to be flexible so it can respond to people's needs.
Poverty is complex. It changes over time, and what works today may not work tomorrow.
Government can always be flexible, but there are tried and true evidence-based approaches to addressing poverty. One of them is addressing government transfers and income for low-income people. There's nothing about transforming employment and income assistance and increasing EIA or welfare rates here.
The province says specific actions will be outlined in the budget every year. All right, Riley back in now. And Riley, while many people are enjoying those above seasonal temperatures, It is messy out there. It is slushy. But most of the pups not needing to wear those booties for a couple days.
No, well, you might need them
Or haven't
tonight.
had to wear them.
Yeah, haven't had to wear them. That's the right way of putting it, Brittany. You might need them into the early morning tomorrow. But things as we get into Thursday morning will likely be a bit on the warmer side and probably a lot more sloppy again.
Yeah.
So keep the gear handy. Here's someone who loves the outdoors and has actually taken up a bit of a new sport. Here's your dog walking forecast. This is Iggy from Devon and Henry taking up the new sport this winter of kick sledding. Doesn't that sound fun? And he's gung-ho to, of course, get the gear on and get running no matter the temperature out there. Thank you for sending this picture, and you can keep sending yours, please, to talkback@cbc.ca. So as we head into the morning tomorrow, again, yeah, it might be a booties morning, first thing in the morning. Southwest winds, though, relatively light. So -22, that is a pretty seasonal overnight temperature, early morning temperature for Winnipeg. Again, pretty seasonal tomorrow. We should be at around -13 for this time of the year. So it will certainly feel a lot more like January as we head through the day tomorrow. Winds do start to pick up, though, as we head through the evening tomorrow, and you'll certainly notice that wind as we get into the day on Thursday. So temperature right now in Winnipeg, keep in mind, We were at a high of 3 degrees earlier in the day, now down to -11 in Winnipeg, wind chill making it feel like -22. There is a bit of a north wind that has a bit of a bite to it out there, sustained at 37 right now. Pressure is continuing to rise as high pressure continues to clear us out across the province. Temperatures right now, far cry from where we started the day across really all of southern and central Manitoba. -5 in Brandon still, 0 in Melita. You can kind of see that cold front as it continues to push south and eastward through the province. So Melita, for example, parts of southwestern Manitoba still on the warm side of that, but slowly temperatures will start to dip as we get through the night tonight. -27 into Dooley Lake, Churchill at -24 degrees. So overnight temperatures tonight, mostly clear skies really across most of southern and central Manitoba. Temperatures close to -20 in the west overnight tonight, -21s, 22s through the Inner Lake, and really the same through parts of northwestern Ontario. I mean, some locations might dip a couple degrees cooler than that, but for the most part, temperatures fairly seasonal through the overnight hours, getting close to -30 again into the north, -28 in Thompson, Gillam at -27, as is Churchill. And as we get through the day, you'll notice clouds starting to build into the west as we get through the afternoon. And then there's that warm front that pushes through. It will likely trigger a bit of freezing rain, particularly through Flin Flon, the Pas. That's where you have the greatest risk as we get through the day tomorrow. Nice sunny day across most of the south. As we get through the afternoon, though, Brittany, we will look at things starting to cloud over once again, and temperatures around -10 through parts of south central Manitoba.
All right, thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
Horst Federow always wanted to be a pilot, but instead of going to flight school, he went to work studying electronics. Now Federow builds his own flight simulators so he can experience flying firsthand, including that turbulence. CBC Manitoba community reporter Shannon Vidal climbed in the cockpit of his latest creation.
Where are we flying to today?
So we're going to just do a circuit around Winnipeg and land again.
Okay.
That's Horst Federow. He's a pilot who's earned his wings by staying on the ground.
The flaps is out. I'm going to adjust my altitude.
Federow imagined flying a plane his whole life, but he wasn't able to go down that career path. He grew up in Paraguay, and getting the training was too expensive. So he took a different route to fulfill his dreams of being airborne. He started constructing his own flight simulators. He's made more than 10 so far. 3 of them are used for training.
One day I visited a local flight school, and I noticed that what they were using were stuff that I was using as well. And I figured, well, if they can do it, then I can do it. So I started building them with the same software and everything that they use for actual training.
His latest is a twin turboprop aircraft that would typically carry about 7 passengers. That simulator is used by 10 commercial pilots each week who can prepare for real-life emergency situations minus the risk.
We took a real airplane and then we took everything apart and out that we didn't need. So when you're sitting inside this cockpit, it is a real cockpit. It's not like an emulation of any kind.
Being in the cockpit is a tad overwhelming. There's an abundance of dials, buttons, and screens, including one showing a satellite map of the plane's location.
You see the airplane is now, it's following this magenta line here.
I feel that sense in my stomach when you're landing in a plane.
Yes, it's because the motion platform is doing those making your body think that the buildings and the trees are computer generated, but the layout for where rivers are, where roads are, and the location of everything is satellite generated.
The simulator helps pilots maintain their muscle memory for emergency situations, like when small orange lights at the top of the controls suddenly start flashing.
These went on. This tells me that there is a fire. Gears out, flaps are out. I let it die down a bit on the speed before I touch ground so that it is slower. Oh yeah, now we're on the grass.
Soon it was my turn to slide into the pilot seat, and I learned it's something that takes a lot of practice.
So we're moving now. So put your hand on here and bring it forward.
What is this doing?
Giving keep going.
Oh, we're moving. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Keep going.
Okay.
There. So I want you to go back to Winnipeg now.
The flight was exhilarating. I could see the sun setting outside and the airport runway ahead on the ground.
Once we're getting closer, like this, we're just going to pull on it gently. I reduce the throttle even more and just let the plane go down by itself.
It was also nerve-wracking because landing involved very gentle steering. I ended up next to the runway rather than actually on it.
I'm using my... Yeah, you're steering with your hands, which is natural. See, we're on the grass, so the friction is higher, so that's why I have to give it more throttle.
We landed safely.
Yes.
It may not have been perfect, but it was safe.
Yeah, it's practice run, so yeah.
Federau says his simulators are making flight training more accessible and affordable. This Manitoba-made training tool costs 1/10 of the price of buying one from the U.S. Shanley Vidal, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Still ahead, warm weather in eastern Canada brings the die-hard golfers out to the tees. We'll show you where when we come back. Well, there are many ways to usher in the new year. In the country of Georgia, they ceremonially burn the chichilaki. This is a Georgian Christmas tree. It's made by stripping back branches from dried walnut or hazelnut trees. After the old chichilaki is burned, a new one is kept in the house for the whole year.
All right, let's have a look at your 7-day forecast now. And as I mentioned earlier, we're looking at this real up and down pattern as we get through the next several days. So afternoon temperature in Winnipeg around -15, but overnight rising to -7 in Winnipeg, all the way up to the freezing mark by the time we get into the day on Thursday with that rain-snow mix. Then down to -14 for Friday, and temperatures back below seasonal as we get to the weekend and into early next week. Temperatures barely getting out of -20 by Monday and Tuesday. One weather picture for you tonight. Bill and Mary took this one at West Hawk Lake. A visitor stopping by their bird feeder, which is 4 feet off the ground. You can send your pics to talkback at cbc.ca. Well, the middle of winter may be the perfect time for snow-based sports. We've certainly seen no shortage of snow in parts of the province this winter so far.
But the mild weather has some golfers hitting the greens in parts of eastern Canada. The midwinter tee-off is our daily lift. Okay, you're looking at a gold course near Halifax, a golf course, I should say. That's a golf course near Halifax that is drawing a few diehard golfers. A platform has been set up at the tee so they don't hit the ground. Here's what some of them are saying about golfing in January.
You know, the ground being frozen, so you know, laying up with your shot and watching it bounce 60 yards is pretty fun.
This golf course is great. As long as there's no snow on the ground, they open as often as they can.
If you've been stuck inside for over the holidays and the cold weather and whatnot that we had, get a chance to come out in 7 or 8 degree weather despite the wind. Everybody's absolutely thrilled to get a chance to play. The golfers are a different breed. I don't know what it is.
Different breed, that's for sure. The Indian Lake Golf Course says it was at full capacity yesterday, and those golfers are hoping for more mild temperatures so they can partake in a few more rounds this winter. I take full responsibility. I wrote this script.
You know what? I do golf, and I was thinking, is it a gold level course? Is there something there? That's not right.
No, that was me. I wrote this one.
It happens. Gold star for them, though, being out there in January. That's what we meant.
True.
Have a wonderful night.